So we're going to get started in a seated position, and you're going to be sitting right in front of your bolster. So are there any questions before I plug in the mic? Because once I plug in the mic, then I won't be able to hear you guys. Okay. I'm going to mute everybody. So you can play music at this point if you wish. So let's go ahead and sit up tall. Can you guys hear me? Just give a quick wave so I know you can hear me. Yes? Awesome. Okay. We're going to sit right in front of your bolster setup and sit up nice and tall. And we're going to bring our hands onto the lower abdomen. Feel free to sit up on a prop if that's more helpful for your hips and your knees. And if this is not a good position, you can take your legs out. No problem. So feel free to adapt as needed. Let your sit bones start to ground and drop downward. And then allow the crown of the head to start to float upwards to create space in the torso. And start to find a nice soft breath in your lower belly. And allow your hands to be there as a reminder to breathe into the abdomen, nice and soft. If you like, you could close your eyes, let the shoulders soften away from the ears. And just welcome yourself to this time here on your mat. Oh my goodness, guys, the funniest thing, I'm so sorry. There is a squirrel at my window, like trying to get in. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It was the cutest thing. Anyway, he wants to join our winter solstice practice. So we're going to take a couple more breaths here. And as you continue to breathe, I want you to imagine that as you're inhaling, the breath is coming from the base of your spine, and it's going all the way up to the crown of the head. And we're going to imagine that that is like, almost like a ray of light. So as you inhale from the base of your spine, imagine a ray of light kind of illuminating your spine all the way up to the crown of the head. As you exhale, see if you can maintain the height of your spine and follow that pathway back down to the base, to the pelvic floor, to the bottom of your spine. And then go ahead, take a few more cycles like that. Inhale from the base of the spine, crown of head. Exhale, crown of head to base of spine. And just with this concept of inviting light into the body today. So we are on the darkest day of the year, which then emerges into more light each and every day. So we honor this day of the longest night, the most darkness, as it begins its transition into more light. Let's take 3 more cycles. After that 3rd cycle, we're going to be doing some somatic movements in front of the bolster, and then we'll be using the bolsters for our restorative postures. So let's go ahead and sit up nice and tall. We're going to roll the shoulders out a few times. Just letting go of tension in those shoulders. Inhale the shoulders up, and then exhale the shoulders down. And let's start to really cultivate a slow, mindful movement. And let your awareness drop out of the head and down into your body. And let's reverse that, go the other direction. All right, from here, go ahead and place your hands down. Scoot your bottom a little bit forward, and we're going to bring our feet out in front of us. And then hands are just supporting you behind you. We're just going to start a simple windshield wiper of the knees side to side. Good. Let's keep that going. We're moving nice and slow. And we're going to start to take the gaze over the opposite shoulder. So as the knees go to the right, the head is going to look over your left shoulder. Start to push in your hands and see if you can get your hips to just lift a little bit away from the ground as you come into the windshield wiper position. We get a little bit more stretch there into the side body, into the side of the head. Good. Now we're going to add on to this movement. So the next time your knees drop over to the right, keep them to the right. Take your left hand and reach it around in a circle. We're going to flow in and out. So inhale, open that arm out wide. Exhale, circle it around. And let's do that a few more cycles on this same side. So we're starting to get into a little bit of a twist here. Inhale, open. Exhale, swing it around. And one more time like this. And then we're going to bring that hand down, bring the knees up, and then over to the other side. Drop those knees, and then we inhale and come around into that twist. So inhale, open. Exhale, around. Couple more like this. Last one. And then we're back to the center. Okay, so we're going to repeat that. We're going to change it up. So legs are going to come over to the right. And you're going to see if you can straighten your left leg out a little bit. Place your right hand on the ground. Left arm is out to the side. And then we're going to sweep that arm forward and into a little bit of a back bend and then back. Okay, we're going to add in an optional lift up in a moment. So we're going to reach that arm up, a little bit of a back bend, like you're looking up toward the sky, and then arm comes out. And then here comes that lift up. So here we're going to press into the hand, lift the hips, press that pelvis forward. So that's optional. If that lift up is too much, you can go ahead and skip it. And if you can, do a few more rounds. Just moving nice and slowly. One more like this. And then we're back to the center. Good. Take your knees over to the left. Straighten that right leg out any amount. I'm going to move my other props out of the way here. Okay. And then left hand supports you. You can just do the arm. So that'll reach back and then up and overhead. Open up and overhead. Now, if you want to add that lift up, go ahead and start to add that. Inhale and lift up. And the breath could be whatever pattern works for you, but do make sure that you're still breathing. So this might be an inhale to open and an exhale to push and lift up. Okay, so we'll do 3 more like that. Last one. And then we're back to the center. Good. Bring those feet back in front of you. And then we're going to windshield wiper again one more time. So we're preparing for our first restorative posture, which is going to be a restorative twist. So we're going to do one more somatic movement here. So we're going to drop those knees over to the right, scoot your feet back a little bit. And we're going to turn to face bolster a little bit more. So I'm going to use my side bolster, scoot pretty close to it. And then we're going to take your left hand to your right knee. That's it. And your right hand is back behind you alongside your body. As you inhale, you're going to look over your right shoulder and arch your back, just kind of like what we were doing. Tip your head back. And then as you exhale, you're going to look over your left shoulder and round your spine. So you're rocking your pelvis forward. Okay, so I'm going to come forward so you can see a little bit better. So you inhale, look over your back shoulder, tip your head back. Maybe look up. Exhale, look over your left shoulder and round your spine. So try that a few more rounds. Inhale. It's almost like cat-cow in a twist. And then release. 3 more cycles. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more rounds. Last time. Now we're going to come up and turn all the way to the bolster. Make sure your right hip is next to the bolster. And you're going to turn your chest to face the bolster and then fold forward and give the bolster or your pillows a nice hug with your arms. Your legs could stay as they are, sort of like what I call the Z-sit, or you could stack your knees on top of each other if that feels better. If you have more props around, you could put a blanket in between your knees for a little bit extra comfort. And then we're going to get really cozy. Just hug that bolster, or you can let your arms drape alongside. And we're going to stay here for a few minutes in this restorative twist. I'm just going to take a peek in on you guys. Make sure you're getting there. So make any adjustments to your legs so that you feel comfortable. We're going to take a 3-minute hold on this side. So we're not going to be super long holds because we only have an hour together. But we'll stay there in that twist. And just let yourself settle. Come back to your soft breath. And allow the props to support you. And allow there to be this kind of sinking and soaking inward. Really saturate your awareness and your breath into your body. Like you're having this more internal experience. So a lot of this practice today is this going inward into darkness, into introspection, reflection. Throughout our busy year, the cycle of our year, we often don't take much time for that. And we resist kind of this internal experience of winter time. We miss the warmth of the sun. We miss the light. We miss being outside. But nature gives us these cues to encourage this introspection, this going within, going into the darkness, because it is replenishing for us. To give ourselves this time to be in community with ourselves, with our breath, with spirit. So continue a nice soft breath in the belly. We're almost there. And with every exhale, let there be a softening and a letting go and releasing into the ground. Last couple of breaths there. We'll take a couple of longer holds toward the end of practice. So let's take one more full cycle of breath where you are. When you are ready, you're going to very slowly start to slide your hands back and press yourself up, taking your time. Try not to rush. And once you get up to the top, you're going to switch over. So if you started with your right hip toward the bolster, you're going to switch to your left hip by the bolster. So I'm just going to do the twist on the other side so you can watch the somatic twist. So left hand is on the ground behind you. Right hand is on your knee. Your bolster would be right in front of you. And then we're going to inhale, look over the left shoulder and find a little arch to the back. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your spine and look over your right shoulder. And then continue. Inhale, look to the back, arch. Exhale, round and come forward. So you're also rocking on your sit bone, particularly that left sit bone. The right hip is also kind of rotating a little bit as you come into that twist, and then that sit bone drops as you round your spine. Let's do one more cycle of the somatic twist. We're arching and then rounding, and then we're going to come up. So you'll turn now to face your bolster, lengthen your spine, torso faces the bolster, and then walk it out and start to rest on your bolster. Give it a good hug. And again, you can stack up your knees if you prefer and keep the legs staggered, up to you. You can hug the bolster or put your arms at your side. You can also put a pillow between your knees if you want to stack those legs on top of each other. And then before you completely settle, take a moment and just give a good squeeze to that bolster if you're hugging it. It's like you want to give it a big hug. And then soften and relax. And start to let everything go once again. So make any adjustments so that you don't have to move a lot for the next 3 minutes. Allow yourself to commit to this stillness. When we find that stillness and that inner focus, it's like we're taking our senses back in. And yoga philosophy talks about this. They give it a word, pratyahara. It's one of my favorite Sanskrit words. Pratyahara means withdrawing our senses from the outside world. So we're not so stimulated by all the things that we're always taking in. The sounds, the sights, the smells. And we're starting to focus inward, maybe on that flow of the breath, maybe on circulatory flow in the body, maybe of the pulsation of our heartbeat. So So as you get more and more still, and you become finer and finer and more subtle in your awareness, start to be able to notice the inner workings of your body on a deeper level. And when we withdraw our senses from the external and bring it more to the internal, there is a deep healing quality in that experience. It's like all of that energy that we put outward is now available to us, which is why it's often called rest and digest. All of that external energy is now available for what our body needs. We tend to neglect it. This is your time to give back to yourself. We're almost there. Let's take one more full cycle of breath. And then when you are ready, start to slide your hands back. Very slowly start to bring yourself back up. And then we're going to pause and you'll have your back to the bolster once again. And now we're going to come into bound angle with the soles of our feet together. And you're going to rock a little bit side to side to widen out your sit bones so you feel nice and grounded. If this is a strain for you, go ahead and put some support underneath each of your legs and add your pillows in there. And if this position is not comfortable, feel free to take your legs out straight. We are going to do that pose later, but if it's too much to do the knees bent, then just go ahead and skip that part. Okay, we're going to make nice circles around on the sit bones. Nice circular pattern, going slowly without forcing anything. And just allowing this circle to remind us of the circular nature of our year. So we came full circle from our last winter solstice to today. And we'll begin again. Let's reverse it, go the other direction. This annual cycle of the light is really important to many spiritual traditions. We celebrate at these particular points of the solstices and the equinoxes in remembrance of this cycle. Come back to the center. Take an inhale, lift up through your chest, and as you exhale, option to come forward into a forward fold. Now, before we kind of hold this forward fold, allow your upper body to have a gentle sway side to side. And let your face be relaxed, your tongue is relaxed in your mouth, your eyes are soft. And you're just taking this gentle sway, almost like you're floating on the breeze from side to side. Letting your head get heavier. Maybe as you sway, you start to come a little bit deeper into your fold. Maybe not. Don't force anything and listen to your body. Eventually find a few breaths of stillness. The head drops. Breath comes into the belly. And if it's more comfortable for you, stay in an upright position. You don't have to come into the forward fold. Back to that inner focus, getting subtle in our awareness. On every exhale, almost a sensation of releasing the past of this crazy year we've all lived through. And as you inhale, just welcoming in newness, this new cycle of the light. On your next inhale, let's slowly start to come up. And we're going to bring our legs out for a moment and circle the feet around. And then go the other direction, circling the feet. Okay. Then we're going to come into cross legs once again. So go ahead and cross. And then as you inhale, we're going to come into a little back bend. So hands are going to come behind you. Push into the ground, lift your heart, squeeze the shoulder blades in and down. And then as you exhale, big bear hug. Right arm on top, round your spine and drop forward. And then repeat. Hands come behind you. Inhale, lift and open your heart. And then left arm on top, big bear hug. Round your spine. Take a few more rounds. Inhale, hands behind, lift and open. Exhale, round forward. One more cycle. And then after this next one, we're going to switch the legs. So put the opposite leg in the front. If you're in the cross leg, widen out your sit bones. Now this time, inhale, stretch the arms up. Arch your back, so a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, hinge and fold forward. So that fold can be however far you like. Let's repeat. Inhale, arch, so it's more of an opening, expansion. And then exhale, coming back inward. One more time. Inhale, open up, arch. Exhale, hands come down and find that sway, side to side. So a little gentle rock. And eventually maybe walking those hands out, letting the head get heavy and coming into your forward fold. So a couple breaths there. We're not going to stay too long. Maybe 2-3 breaths. Eventually find some stillness. Soft breath in the belly. Sit bones are tipping back behind you to make sure your lower back stays lengthened. Good. And then let's walk it back in. Change the legs back to the first side so we even out those hips. We're going to do that one more time. So inhale up, take a big arch, and then exhale, fold. And the fold can be, mild. You have to go far. Inhale, come up, stretch back. Exhale, down. One more time. Inhale, come up, arch. And then exhale down. Hands in front. Find that gentle sway side to side. Walking the hands out any amount. Starting to let the head start to get heavy. You're just coaxing your body into this forward fold. Eventually finding your stillness and holding for a few breath cycles. Allow that breath to feel like soft, like falling snow in the night. Just this quiet hush of the breath. All right, let's slowly start to walk ourselves up. Straighten the legs out for a moment. You can circle feet, point flex, wiggle the legs. And we're going to come into our next restorative posture, which will be reclining bound angle. So we're sitting in front of the bolster. You're going to grab either 2 blocks, if you have extra blocks, or 2 blankets or pillows, whatever you have, to go under the 2 legs. Now you can make this as high as you like. So if you fold those blankets up, the further you stick them in, like if your knees don't drop out really far, you're going to bring that stuff in really close because the knees are higher. Those of you who are a little bit more open here could make the stack lower and let the knees drop apart farther. So do listen to your body, give yourself support. We're going to take the hands behind us and scoot your tailbone a little forward so that your lower back feels lengthened. And then we're going to come back and recline into our bound ankle. Now you might want a pillow here under your head if you don't have one there, so that you have a little bit more elevation and support for your neck. So if you have something, put that under your head. You have something to cover your eyes, you could cover your eyes. Okay, so we're going to take about 5 minutes in this one, so a little bit longer hold in our reclined bound angle. Now, if your legs feel like they're just not happy here, I want you to just take your legs out straight and put some support under your knees. So if bound angle is not a happy place for you today, don't force it. But this is a posture where we're more open, right? The last restorative, we were more closed in that twist. We were more snuggly. But in this one, there's more space in that front body. It's almost like we can invite that light into our heart space. Come to that soft breath. Soft like the hush of the snow in the nighttime. Particularly letting the exhales fall out really soft and slow. That is an equal part of our breath cycle that is often neglected, often not focused on, unless you're coming to my class. I'm always focusing on exhales. But it is like the letting go phase of our breath, the detoxifying phase of our breath, where we can let go of whatever is holding us down, holding us back, standing in the way of our own healing. So allow those exhales to stay really conscious so that you're paying attention to that full cycle of exhalation. Because if we think of this cycle of our annual cycle of light and compare it to a cycle of breath, the solstice time, the end of the year, is like nature's exhalation. It's the phase where nature lets go. Like a sigh of relief here at the end of the year. And that inhale is a rising energy, like the light returning, like the rising yang of spring. And the exhale is the release, like the yin of winter and fall. So as you stay here a little bit longer, if the mind starts to become active or distracted, gently continue to guide yourself back, following the cycle of breath. So I have a couple of readings So as you take, we've got about another minute and a half in this pose. This is one of my favorite writers for this time of year, John O'Donohue. Beautiful writer, no longer living, but has some beautiful kind of Celtic inspired poetry and prose. He says the world rests in the night. Trees, mountains, fields, and faces are released from the prison of shape and the burden of exposure. Each thing creeps back into its own nature within the shelter of the dark. Darkness is the ancient womb. Nighttime is womb time. Our souls come out to play. The darkness absolves everything. The struggle for identity and impression falls away. And we rest in the night. I really love that passage because it just speaks to me of how when we retreat inward, there's this authenticity to it. So when he says things like, our souls come out to play and the darkness absolves everything, the struggle for identity and impression falls away. So when we're going within, we're not trying to put on airs. We're not trying to put on a happy face when maybe we don't feel happy. We're not trying to impress anyone. We're simply being with ourselves and allowing our soul to come out to play, to be seen. So that is our 5 minutes in that position. So I'm going to have you very slowly start to draw the knees up and extend the legs for a moment before we come up. If you've been in bound angle, take the legs out. If it would feel good, you might want to start a little gentle movement, maybe stretch it out a little bit. When you are ready to go ahead and roll off to one side, you can stay up on your bolster or come off of the bolster. And we're going to press ourselves up back into a seated position. And we're going to bring those feet out in front of us again. Bring our hands behind us. And once again, we're going to windshield wiper. Ooh, it's 1:38 already. How'd that happen, guys? I'm going to try and get in another pose or two yet. So now we're going to take the knees over to the right. And you're going to bring your left hand behind the back of your head. As you inhale, turn open to the left. Look toward that left elbow. And as you exhale, spin around to the right. And try to bring your elbow to touch toward the ground or toward your hand. Inhale, open up into that twist. Exhale, we come around and start to bring that elbow toward the ground. So let's do that 3 more times. One more. Now this time, as you come around, go ahead, release your hands, walk it out and fold over that right leg. Now, if this is not comfortable for you, you can feel free to change those legs up. You could do cross legs, but if you can, you're just going to fold over that right leg any amount. You don't have to go far. We're only going to take a few breaths. All right, slowly let's walk it up. Good. And And then we're going to go to the other side. Bring your feet out in front of you. And we're going to windshield wiper. Let those knees come over to the left. Scoot your feet back a little bit, sitting up tall. And then right hand behind the back of the head. Inhale, turn open. And then exhale, rounding forward. And let's do that a few more rounds. Inhale, open up, exhale forward. So it's a bit of a twist and a little bit, almost like a little bit of a cat-cow here like we did before. Two more. And then we're going to go into that fold. So you're going to turn and walk yourself out any amount. Let's say up higher if that's better for you, or you can fold more deeply. So listening to your body, we're going to take a few breaths. Remember, you can always change it up. You can always take a different leg position if that feels better for you. All right, very slowly start to walk yourself up. And then we're going to come back. And now we're going to face the bolster. So you might want to shift your setup forward so that you can be facing me. And we're going to straddle the bolster. So I'm going to move everything a little closer here. And have that bolster right in between the legs. Now, some of you guys might not feel super comfortable in this position. So we're going to add in any props that would help here. Maybe something under your sit bones. So you might want a blanket or a pillow. You could also fold a blanket and put one underneath each leg. So you have a little bend in that knee. Okay? So feel free to adapt this however you need to. And then take a moment and pull those sit bones apart and slightly back behind you. You'll feel a little bit more grounded through your base. And then we're going to just sit up tall for a moment. You can let the legs sort of be relaxed. They don't have to be engaging here. This is more restorative and somatic. So we're going to take circles again like we did in the beginning and just rotate the torso around the legs. If you are comfortable, you could even close your eyes for that inner focus. Those circles could be as small or as big as you need them to be. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. Notice how you're rocking from one sit bone to the other. You want to feel almost like gravity is doing the work here and that you're not forcing anything, just allowing this circling to happen. Now we're going to come back through the center, sit as close as you can to the bolster. Now some of you are going to be able to fold here. You want to think about your sit bones tipping back behind you, and then you can hug your bolster. You could put a pillow here. Now, some of you are going to feel like that's too deep, so you're going to put your bolster the opposite way. You're going to put it on the ground and rest your forehead right on the bolster. So it depends on your body, your flexibility. You can either fold to the bolster or have the bolster meet you. And this one is going to be a 3-minute hold. We'll do a little bit shorter because we're running out of time and I want to make sure we get to a few more things. So again, this posture is a little more introspective, front of the body closed off. So let that upper body really sink into the prop. Find your soft breath in your belly. And with every exhalation, feel that sinking inward. Saturating your awareness and your attention back to your breath, to sensations in your body, pulsation, circulatory flow, the inner workings of your body. So much of our time is spent in our head, thinking mind, busy mind. This is time to drop inward. This is time to get out of busy mind and allow for settling and stillness and softness. Almost there, just another breath or two. Ideally, we would be doing this in like a 2-hour workshop and we'd be able to stay longer, but we have an hour together today. May end a few minutes late, just a heads up to everybody, maybe like 5 minutes. Take your last cycle of breath here. And then we're going to slide the hands back and very slowly move in slow motion. Start to bring yourself up. And when you get vertical, just take a brief pause. Okay. So we're going to do one more pose before our Shavasana. First, we're going to do a round of cat-cow. So we're going to face our bolster, put our hands alongside the bolster, and we're going to take little movements. So we'll inhale and exhale round through the spine. So a couple more cycles like this. Remember to move slowly and mindfully. Stay with that inner focus. After this next one, coming into neutral, and we're going to circle those hips around. So a lot of circular movement today. Circular movements, really good for our joints at this time of year. We're feeling a little stiff or cranky in those joints. And then let's circle it the other direction. We're back to the center. We're coming into restorative child's pose. So we're going to take our knees apart. Make sure that bolster is in between the legs or your bed pillows. And then we're going to put our hands alongside the bolster. Take a pause. Think about your sit bones sticking out behind you. So we take this little pelvic tilt so that we can lengthen a little bit more as we come down. And then you could hug the bolster again like we've been doing. Or you can let your arms be alongside. Turn your head to one side. And then start to come into stillness when you are ready to. And if you are comfortable, let your eyes gently close. Find a soft breath in your belly. When we get about midway, we're going to change our head to the other side. This will be another shorter hold. Our Shavasana will be a longer hold. Let out a soft, slow exhalation. And take the breath in just as gently and slowly. Ideally, winter is a time of slowing down. But our culture, especially in our holiday season, is asking us to do more and more, even when the darkness is here and we're in a lower point in our energy cycle. So it's no wonder we get ourselves a bit burned out, tired out, exhausted, and or sick if we don't listen to our bodies. When you are ready, go ahead and turn your head so it's facing the opposite direction. And we'll stay for another minute and a half. And you let go of a little bit more effort here, maybe in your arms, maybe in your face. Let go of effort and let the body be very relaxed. Last couple of breaths. Finish out one more cycle here. And then we're going to very slowly slide your hands back closer to under your shoulders and carefully press yourself back up. All right. So we're going to get ready for our Shavasana now. You're going to turn around again. Maybe stretch those legs out for a moment. And let's go ahead and put something underneath the legs. So you could put a pillow, a folded blanket, something under the legs. And then if you still have some props available, maybe put something over your body to cover up so you're nice and cozy. And we're going to come back. You might want a pillow under your head as well. And let those arms come open alongside your body. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of moments to get settled. And then we'll be doing a guided meditation on your back. So make any last minute adjustments so that you can truly commit to this stillness and this posture. Find the softness of your inhale and your exhale. And just allow the back body to really sink into the props, into the ground. And as you continue to breathe, you start to imagine the body as a flower in springtime, starting to open to the light. So, beginning as if you're in a tight bud, that beginning stages of opening. And as you exhale, just having a sense of the first layer of those petals starting to pull away and open, letting go of a layer of tension. And with each subsequent exhalation, just starting to feel like another layer of those petals starting to softly open. And you'll continue layer by layer, as if this flower had 1,000 petals. And you're just releasing them one layer at a time. What is exposed in the center? That soft center. Let's imagine it as that beam of light that we started to work with in the beginning of practice. So as the flower of your body starts to open, we're exposing this ray of light, center of the body through the spine. This light that is always within us, even in these darkest days. Start to connect with that light, the warmth of it, the tone of it. Notice if it's golden or silver, warm or cool. Allow it to start to spread out through your whole abdomen, torso, heart center. And allow this inner light to spread through your body. Bringing healing light into all of the organs. Healing light into your heart. And allow that light to start to spread through the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the fingertips. Feeling your arms alive with this light energy. And then let it spread through the hips and the legs, the knees, the feet, and the toes. That light spreading through all of your limbs, up into the throat, the head, the face, the eyes. So from the center outward, we're feeling this infusion of light in the whole body. Allow it to be healing, replenishing, rejuvenating. Sense the whole body as this field of light, radiant, sparkling, every cell infused with light. Maybe that light spreading beyond the body, filling up the space even around you. And we'll take a couple of minutes just to stay there, resting in that light. I'm going to share another reading with you before we come out. The night breathes, slow, deep, and long. The breath of the earth moves up to meet the stars. Slow down, dear ones, slow down and breathe. The dark has its own music. The dark has its own spell. It is the breath that unclenches, bringing sweetness to our deeps. Be as the sleeping mountain. In the rhythm of your patience, the world will be revealed. In the drumbeat of our hearts, all of the lessons of the year will tell their stories. Winter is stillness. It is deep and calm and huge. Carry your candle, but do not let it blind you to the radiance of dark. Do not let it crowd out silence. Do not let it deafen the music of heartbeat, breath, starlight, humanity. We turn the wheel of the year. We are time unfolding, seasons following seasons, flowing through us, bodies, hearts, and minds. We walk through the grace of the year and our wholeness is revealed. We walk through the wisdom of the seasons and learn ever more how to love what we love. So noticing how you feel here at the end of this little winter solstice practice. I hope you feel rested and replenished. Take a few breath cycles to return and come back into your body. Bring in smaller movements at first. Be gentle with yourself. Let everything move in slow motion. Gradually bring in some additional movement when you are ready to. Take all the time you need to come over onto your side. Take a pause. After you've had a brief pause on your side, take your time. We'll return to a seated position. So we'll face forward. And my tradition is to always close my winter solstice practices. We're going to turn the right palm up and turn your left palm down. And sit up tall, close your eyes, come to your breath. So symbolically, right hand up, receiving from above, light, gifts from the divine. And then left hand down, symbolizing connection to the earth, to the ground, to also giving, to receiving and giving. And here we balance out both pathways, light and dark, yin and yang, sky and earth, sun and moon. The inhale and the exhale, the outside and the inside, the joy and the pain, the positive and the negative, the known and the unknown, all are necessary, part of our experiences. Even in the darkest night, the sun rises, the light returns. As you inhale, imagine drawing in through your right palm. And as you exhale, imagine releasing through your left palm. And then we're going to bring our hands together in front of the heart space and pause. Just take a couple breaths, your hands together in this gesture of gratitude and of honoring the light within each and every one of us. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bow your head toward that light within. We offer peace and goodwill to all, and may our own luminosity extend both inward and outward. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.